Hi guys, I'm live. I'm going to do a lesson here on the pinky finger in playing guitar. I had a request to do that in a comment, and I said I would. So let's do a lesson on the left hand little finger in its regard to technique on guitar. So anyway, let's do this. First, some math background. Well, some math background. Well, before I say that, there's 4 is the number of fingers that you use to play on guitar on the left hand, and 4 is the biggest number of things that that the human mind can assimilate and think of at once. If you add a 5th thing, you can't get your head around all the things involved, all the possible combinations and groups. And if you take only 3, we can do more than that. We can do more. We can understand and get our heads around more than 3 elements at a time. But 4 is the right amount. 4 is the number of elements that we can get our head around at any given time. If you see 4 plates on the floor, that's how many you can focus on. If you see 5, you can't focus on all 5. If you see 3, you can do better than that. And in mathematically speaking, there's something called a factorial. Like if I say 3 factorial, that means 1 times 2 times 3, which is 6. If I say 2 factorial, that's 1 times 2, which is 2. But it turns out in permutation theory, in math, the number of ways to order, in other words, the number of ways of ordering all 4 groups, 4 members of a group, the number of ways to order all 4, but in a different order, is 4 factorial, which is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4, which is 24. So there's 24 ways you can order all 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4 is one of them. 4, 3, 2, 1 is one of them. I guess it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. But there's other ways, and 24 is a good number that we can get our head around. 6, we can do more than that. That would be the number of ways to order 3 fingers would be 3 factorial, which is 1 times 2 times 3, which is 6. And we can do better than that. We can do more. We can actually do 24. But if you make it 5, that's 5 factorial, and that becomes 24 times 5, which is let me think. I think it's 120 or something like that. Which is more than we can focus on. In fact, it's more than we could get our head around. So we have the right amount of fingers on our hand to fit the human mind, and so now to apply that to guitar, you want to use all 4 fingers equally fast and equally strong. Really, you want to be able to, because if you don't want to use only 3 fingers, and you don't want to use, and if you have, so you do want to use 4 fingers, and you're only going to be able to play as fast as your slowest finger. So the key is to get your pinky as fast as the other fingers and as strong as the other fingers. That's the trick. And Eddie Van Halen, the great, said, when he was alive, of course, because he didn't say anything since he died, at least not to us or consciously. He said that using the finger, the little pinky finger on the left hand, is a mental thing. In other words, it's kind of a mental, not crazy mental, but it's a mental thing. If you get your mind around the idea of using the pinky first, then just practice it, and it'll fall into place. If you don't have your mind around the 4th finger, you're not going to be able to use it right. So start with your mind. Just maybe think of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row, and just imagine that each one of those numbers is a finger, and just get that, just get your head around that. And so so it's a mental thing first. I notice I haven't played guitar or anything yet. You get your mind around that you're going to use 4 fingers. And I'm just talking yet, so I'm still going to play, but of course. But more about the 4 and the 3 thing. 2 more things. On cartoon characters, they often draw only 3 fingers for cartoons, and we're very fortunate that we have 4 fingers, not 3, like in cartoons. And a funny thing about that, same thing between 3 and 4. This is a funny anecdote. Way back in the old days, it was thought that all insects that have 6 legs, because they have 3 on one side, 3 on the other, but nobody had counted. Nobody had bothered to count the number of legs that are actually on a certain insect called the spider. And a spider has 8 legs. It has 4 legs on each side. And for like centuries or something like that, I heard we thought spiders had 6 legs until somebody counted them and said, oh my gosh, they have 8 legs. They have 4 on each side, not 3 on each side. And that might even be the focus, or that might even be the source of arachnophobia, whatever it's called. The fear of spiders might have been because of the trauma when we realized that the spider is the only insect that actually has 8 legs. It has 4 on each side other than 3. So now to apply that to, I think that's interesting. What we're going to find next, a 10-legged spider? No. So let's get to the guitar of it, the actual playing. One more thing I want to say. Eric Johnson said that using the little finger has a different vibe than the other fingers. It sounds different if you use the little finger versus if you don't. And so it has a different vibe. So remember, it's the finger that can stretch the furthest from the first finger, and it has a different vibe. So let's say I'm playing twisted over the theme. Well, the thing about that is, it would sound differently if he hadn't used his pinky. I'm not going to really get too much into trying to do it without the pinky, but it would sound different. I can't even do it without using it. It would sound totally different. The pinky gives it a cool vibe. So just practice, and it sounds different, and use it in tapping licks. Oh, that's the Randy Rhoads part of the solo to Flying High Again. It sounds different if you do it with the pinky than if you were to not use the pinky. It's just a different sound, you know? That's with the pinky. Without it would sound like... It's a different sound. I don't like that as well. So, yeah, use your pinky. The tapping, and then sometimes if you're doing stream skipping, it's good to use it too. You can get a lot more mileage and distance and range with using the pinky than if you didn't. It looks like that would be really hard to do if you just, for some reason, we're not allowed to use your pinky. It would sound totally different. It would be harder to play physically too. licks are better with the pinky. Here's the one I like. For string on two strings. Now. And then there's pedal point. Pedal tones are good for pinky too. Again, back to Clissadova, it would be very difficult to play this lick without the pinky. Yeah, I think it would. If it didn't have a pinky, that would almost be impossible to play. So yeah, it has a different sound than other fingers. It gives you more range than if you didn't use it. You can do more notes with it. And it sounds a different vibe, you know. That would be a lot. There's so many licks that you just couldn't do without your pinky, and it would sound differently. Just regular shredding. those are 3 notes per string scales. And then of course there's picking involved in shredding as well, and coordinating the picking with the fingers, and if we're tapping, it's the fingers with the fingers, you know. Do the lesson, and love you guys. Peace, rock and roll.